Tofu. I never used to like tofu at all. I just thought the texture was horrible. But because it is so unprocessed, I mean, I know that looks like it's really processed, doesn't it? I have learnt how to do tofu in a way that I like it. I am first of all going to break some off, and rather than slice it, I'm going to break pieces off. Tofu, really good for keto and vegan, of course. Carbs, really nice and low, 1.9 grams per 100 grams. Fibre, not too bad. Protein is really good, 16.9. Fat, 7.7, of which saturates 1.2 grams. So that's really good for us, and we can just add mayonnaise or oil or something like that to increase the fat count. What are the ingredients on tofu then? So tofu basically is water, soya, what's nigari? Gonna have to look at that, and sea salt. So it's really basic. We can understand the words, apart from I don't know what nigari is. There we are. And because I am using the Tofu Co. smoked, I think that one's smoked. I had it in a plastic tub. And I'm sure it's smoked. I prefer the smoked. They've already pressed it. You don't even need to press it. I don't know about pressing tofu because, as you can tell, I am not a tofu expert. I am going to break off some pieces of that. I am going to fry that first, and if it is smoked, I do like smoky things. I'm going to fry it in some sesame oil. I'm going to add some of my fave thing, liquid smoke, and I'm going to put a little bit of mild and smoky barbecue seasoning. However, I did think about making my own barbecue seasoning because, I mean, it's got lots of lovely ingredients in there. It says, oh, shake well before use. I never shake it before use. But the carb count of this, I mean, we only use a tiny little bit though, don't we, is 45.1 grams, of which sugar's 24, which was why I was thinking about making my own, but I need to find a jar or something to put that in. That's probably not very focused if you're watching tiny writing. You can see I've broken up the tofu, just sort of crumbled, not too small, but it's all textured, so you get a bit of texture on that, and I do like crispy food. And there's some peppers and spring onion. I'm going to start frying the tofu first. In my little frying pan, I have got the sesame oil, the liquid smoke, and I've put 1 small teaspoon of that barbecue seasoning. I have stopped using non-stick pans. I watched a film called Dark Waters. It was a 2019 film, I think, and basically it said about how damaging Teflon can be, so I have got rid of all my Teflon pans and going stainless steel. Just frying the tofu now, not too much fat in there because I want it to go crispy. Once I think that's crispy enough and cooked enough, I'm then going to add the spring onions, which are nice and low in carbs, and the green pepper, also nice and low in carbs. Spring onions and peppers are now in. I'm going to fry that for about 1 minute so it's not too soft. And that is going to be just a small lunch for me. I had a stuffed mushroom for breakfast with some salad. I might add some avocado to that to increase the fat count. Here's my lunch. I have put half an avocado underneath. I managed to pick some up cheap yesterday. They were just at their nearly best before date. I love them when they're nice and soft. I also put some mayonnaise in there as well. I love my mayonnaise, and I do like things crispy, but I also like things creamy. I'll let you know how it tastes in a second. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Tastes pretty bland. Needed more flavour in there. Maybe a little bit of salt and pepper as well. The texture, though, not bad for the tofu, as in the outside's a little bit crispy. So add your own flavours. This is Rachel Tofu 1 experiment. We'll be doing some more. This time with the tofu, I'm going to make it much more flavoursome because tofu, in my opinion, doesn't really taste, especially the plain stuff. And the texture, as I've said, I haven't always been keen on. So I've broken it up into bits again rather than slice it to give it texture on the outside. So when I fry it, it gets crispy. And this time I am going to, again, use the toasted sesame oil. Again, use a liquid smoke. I love liquid smoke. This time I am also going to use garlic paste, some dark soy sauce, some Maple Grove Farm sugar-free syrup and some sweet smoked paprika. Here's everything in my little pan, my little non-stick pan. I've just put it all in together. Teaspoon of the pureed garlic, teaspoon of the smoked paprika, good amount of oil this time so it fries better, nice squeeze of liquid smoke, and a dash, not too much, of the dark soy, and a nice squeeze of the maple. I think I might have done it on the amount of liquid. Don't know that that's going to fry particularly crispy. There's too much liquid in there, but we'll see how it goes. You can see it's starting to simmer a little bit already. This time I haven't added green pepper or onion because what I'm going to do, I'm going to serve it on a bed of green leaves that I've bought from Sainsbury's with some baby tomatoes in there and a nice generous squeeze of mayonnaise, my favourite Heinz vegan mayonnaise. I'll also put some cress too. I grow my own alfalfa, so I've added some of that as well, and there's a vegan mayo ready to go on. The tofu is cooking really nicely. It's reducing down, and I've tasted it a little bit and it's much more flavoursome than yesterday's option. Oops, I think I might have gone over the top on the mayonnaise. I do love the mayonnaise, and it's that added fat which is really important for the keto diet. You can see there, if you're watching, that the sauce has gone nice and syrupy. What is great about this is really quick. It's taken me 4 or 5 minutes at the most. You just chuck in the ingredients, cook it. If you like flavours, add them in. Careful of the carb counts there, but with your herbs and spices, their carb count might be high, but you put so little in, it's absolutely okay. There you have it. It's my tofu on a bed of salad, lots of mayonnaise. I'll let you know what it tastes like in a second. So this time the tofu wasn't crispy because I didn't dry fry it, but the flavour is much better. That's because of the flavours that I've put on it. Stay tuned for my next option. With this last recipe with tofu, I'm going to do a Thai green curry, and unlike me, I'm going to put tofu in it. I am going to cube some and then rip some as well. The first thing I'm going to do is air fry the tofu. I've got a small air fryer, so I'm going to have to do it in steps, which will be a bit of a pain, but this is me testing out whether air frying is going to work with the tofu. I put a bit of olive oil in the fryer there, and then I'm going to spray it with more oil. I'm going to have to do it probably in 3 sections. I've actually put some smoked salt on that and some pepper, and I've sprayed it with the 1 cow spray, which isn't good for us, is it? Or is it actually? It is extra virgin olive oil spray, and it says 2 calories per spray, but that's because it's just so light. So I've given that a really good covering. I'm going to put it on 200 full blast for about, I'm going to put it on for 10 minutes because my timer is not exact. Look at that, not precise at all. And then get it out after 2 or 3 minutes, see how it's doing. Whilst the tofu is frying in the air fryer, I'm going to fry the garlic and the spring onions. I'm also going to fry the chilies. I've picked 3 chilies from my chili plant. They are hot chilies. I do like my food really hot and spicy. A bit of heat in there. Just starting to fry the garlic, spring onion and chili. Get that going. I'm going to use a slow cooker because I've got so many ingredients, and I'm just going to add the things to the slow cooker a bit at a time. I'll fry things off, add it to the slow cooker, fry something else off just to give it a little bit of friedness. What's that called? There's probably a proper term. And then just keep adding it to the slow cooker. I won't turn the slow cooker on. Actually, no, I will, because it takes a long time to heat up, doesn't it? So the first lot of tofu has been air fried. I didn't check it because I was too busy frying the onions, garlic and chili, and it worked really well. So the first lot of tofu in there is nice and crispy, and the onions and chili and stuff in there as well. Just about to do my second lot of tofu. You can see in there some cubed and some torn. I'm going to see the difference there too. That will go in for another 10 minutes. I've put some more ground smoked salt on there and some more ground pepper and loads of sprays of that oil. To fry things in, I have been using the virgin olive oil, but olive oil at the moment is incredibly expensive. There's been a shortage because of the weather. Isn't it terrible about climate? So I'm actually going to fry off the aubergine in some sesame oil, and then I'm going to put that in the slow cooker. Then I will fry off the peppers, just a tiny little bit. Not bother with the mushrooms or the sliced water chestnuts. But when I'm doing the aubergine, I think that's when I'm going to add the green curry paste. Okay, the question is, how much of this green curry paste do I use? It's really high in carbs. It's 21 grams per 100. This is 200 grams. Normally, and I didn't realise this before because I hadn't really checked the red Thai curry paste, I put the whole thing in. I think I am going to use 100 grams roughly because I am going to be making a lot of small pots of this. So in it goes with the aubergine. I've put 2 tablespoons in there, so it's about a third of the pack actually, it's not half. So I reckon that's 80 grams. I'm going to add 1 can of coconut milk to this to get the curry paste really into the flavour. Then I'm going to pour that into the slow cooker. Second batch of tofu's in there. I tell you what, using an air fryer to make your tofu crispy is a game changer. It's really good. Chuck it in, spray some of that oil on it, leave it on full blast. 200 I put mine on for about 10 minutes and I thought, so crispy. I think I'm liking tofu. That is the aubergine with the green Thai curry paste and a can of coconut milk. I'm going to use 2 more cans of coconut milk. I'm going to add the cauliflower soon. That should have defrosted by now. And then I'm going to fry the pepper. I'll put the mushrooms in as well. Next step is frying the peppers. I've put the mushrooms in there. I need better lighting. When I get my new kitchen, that's not going to be for another year, the lighting will be amazing. This one is so tiny, I'm actually having to put the slow cooker on the hob. And I've got, you know, the air fryer stuck in that little corner. I mean, it's a workable kitchen. The oven's humongous, 8 hobs. But 2 ovens that don't fit a massive baking tray in widthwise. 3 batches of the tofu have now been air fried and put in. Peppers, fried, added. Water chestnuts sliced from a tin and Sainsbury's. 2 of those small tins are added. I'm then going to add the cauliflower. Actually, I think I'm going to add 2 more cans of milk first. Then the cauliflower. Get that heating. Turn up the slow cooker to high. Get that heated through. Then add the Pak Choi. Everything is in there now, apart from the Pak Choi. It's on high. I've stirred it around. I was concerned about the amount of liquid because when I went to Giggling Squid last week, I had a green Thai curry and I thought it was really, really nice and they put tofu in it, but they hadn't air fried it. I have added I had some white wine, dry white wine left in the fridge. I had some friends over on Saturday and I've put some of that in there just to add the liquid. The curry has been cooking for quite a while now, about an hour and a half, and I'm going to add the Pak Choi or the bok choy, whatever you call it. But my pots that it's going to go in, I'm going to pot it all up and have them for my little meals. These Pak Choi, even when they're wilted down, I'm never going to be able to get them into one of those pots. So I've decided I'm going to slice them lengthways and also widthways too. I know it's sacrilege. I know they're meant to be whole, but they need to fit in a pot that size. So here is the curry. Let's just lift the lid and see how it's doing. That's cooking really nicely. I'm going to give that a stir once I put the Pak Choi in. Pak Choi is in. It now is going to be cooking for another hour at least. I'm keeping it on high. The cauliflower isn't soft yet. I've just had a little taste of the sauce and it's really nice. It's not too over hot. Bit of a shame that. But it's really flavoursome, looks good. Nice bit of chilli in there as well. Might even make it for future guests. I used coconut milk this time because I checked the carb count and fat counts. In the past, I've used coconut cream because it's nice high fat, but double checking the carb count, that is pretty high on coconut cream. Coconut milk, the fat isn't quite as good. I mean, it's not bad, but the carb count is much lower. In total, that has made 26 portions of varying sizes. And so the average grams of carbs per portion is 4.9 grams of carbs and 9.5 grams of fat. And I've lost a lid. I think Luke and Kingsley have that lid somewhere in their house because they've got random pots and lids of mine from when I did their wedding present, their keto vegan diet. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit follow or subscribe. Tell me if you do this and how you make it. I'll see you next time.